Gentlemen and ladies who came to office did not want to leave until I did something small for the M-Pesa. And also convinced me very hard to come and say something which I think being students and being my colleagues, I said let me come and grace this occasion. With those few remarks, I will wish you well in your clinical years, and I take this opportunity to welcome Dr. Kigondu, whom I know for many years, colleague, and your consultants. And I think if there is nobody to introduce him, let him give a little background of himself so that we know him thoroughly. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, all of you. My name is Dr. Kigondu. I'm the current president of the Kenya Medical Association. Incoming 30 years, a year they are outgoing 30 years. 30 years, Calvin, you are outgoing 30 years for long. Calvin is our goalkeeper at Daktari FC, so we know him very well. Executive team, Fabina, faculty, telemedicine, Lena, Edgar, Odon, Ida, Benji, Alan. Calvin is a KUSA rep. We have the alumni, Luka Etabu, Laura Hina, Wendy, the Akums team. I think they've done a very good job so far. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. I'm bringing greetings from the Kenya Medical Association, which is a membership organization, voluntary membership organization representing medical and dental practitioners in Kenya. Our twin mission at the association ties in well with the medical training that you are receiving, which is championing for the welfare of the medical professionals and advocating for the highest quality of healthcare for all Kenyans. We are happy that the KU faculty are not only members, but they provide focused mentorship. KME has committees that medical students also engage in. And I think some of you, especially your leadership, are members of committees at Kenya Medical Association, and they bring us some of the issues that medical students face, and we see how to solve them financially and through connections. Dr. Douglas Moniki here is a member of the Kenya Medical National Governing Council. He's actually a co-convener of the Reproductive Health Committee. So you're well represented at the association. I'll be brief and give a few words of advice to the young medical students starting their clinical journey of translating theory into practice, which the organizers of this event quickly framed very well as transiting from the cram-pass cycle to actually applying the learned knowledge in real-life situations of ward rounds. That was how they put it. From time immemorial, medicine has been considered what is called a noble profession. According to the Collins Dictionary, noble is an adjective. It means it relates to hereditary class with special social or political status, often derived from a feudal system in the old empires. It's also characterized by high moral qualities. It means you are magnanimous. A noble profession. A profession is an occupation requiring special training in the liberal arts and sciences, especially one of the three learned professions, which were law, traditionally theology, and medicine. Yeah? Because of its unique training and language and traditions, medicine is a cult. Yeah? So I'm welcoming you to the medical cult. A cult has symbols. The symbol of the medical cult traditionally is the stethoscope, right? So you are in a cult. But standing here today and in line with my line of duty, I want to declare that we need to rename this ceremony to a stethoscope ceremony. Tunaonewa. So this stethoscope ceremony is the second among the many ceremonies that in the field of medicine, of training medical doctors, after the white coat ceremony. It serves to initiate you into the clinical stages of medicine. It's akin to what the political statement says for ground. And I think Daktari has brought it out very well that he wanted to quit. But when he reached for ground, he discovered that you can actually enjoy it. Because if you do not get good clinical knowledge and skills, your practice will be deficient from a foundation point of view. I'm also praying that I will be attending your finalist dinner after you have satisfied the examiner that you are a safe clinical doctor. You satisfy the examiner, and I'll show you a few tricks of how to do. There are two phases of learning. There is the basic principles that you have had for at least 2 years, I hope, and the application of the same. Normally, there are two models of learning. There is the sequential model, and there is the other model, which is almost parallel, intertwined with the application. The jury is out there. Which of the two is superior? I have been asked to show you how to come out of the cram-pass cycle. In fact, in medicine, it gets worse. Cramming, you must. Cramming is a learning method. But that is just a small realm of the whole discussion of learning. People are different. Some learn by cramming, others by seeing, others by touching, others by listening. In the clinical years, you must touch the patient. That is the only way you learn. Gaining knowledge should also not be confused with passing exams, and Ogweno has put it very well. Both are important. To move ahead anywhere, you must pass exams. That is what is called exam technique. And a lot of medical students, me being involved, are confused the two. I am a clever doctor. I didn't pass the exam. You get the point. To practice as a good clinician, you must gain knowledge. So the ideal for a medical doctor is to gain knowledge and at the same time to have a good exam technique. Yeah. Many a time we confuse passing exam and you say, oh, and I'm very happy, I don't know how it came that the people argue that a 1 point summation like KCSE, why should it determine my future? That's what they say. This is the same discussion we are having in CBC, as why should your life be determined by this one exam? And you have been working hard throughout the training. And that's a real discussion. And the same discussion is in medical school. Luckily, and I hope that the faculty at KU has a 30% pass mark that is dependent on continuous assessment tests that have been done continuously through the term. So if you are wise, 30% of your marks have already come before you reach the exam. You see how easy it is to pass the exam. In clinical years, that 30% is marked by your presence in wardrooms. Presence is not looking nice and moving around the clever consultants who are spewing knowledge about the ages in the wardroom. You should have appeared in the ward earlier than the consultant. You should have taken history from the patients in the wards. You should have palpated the spleen. And before that, and indeed you should present 1 or 2 patients in wardroom. That is the way to learn in clinical years. When I was in medical school, I had to imagine by reading a book and looking at diagrams drawn in last, what the path of oculomotor is, how to perform marsupialization. Again, in your clinical years, you may get very rare conditions that require treatment that are very rare and may have no one has ever come across it, including your consultants. But in this day and age, you have Google, you have YouTube, so there is no excuse for ignorance. Even what your lecturers do not know, you should be knowing because you have Google and YouTube. This makes learning faster and integrates application of knowledge immediately. Very different from the past, where we used to sit for long hours in the library trying to imagine oculomotor. There was no YouTube, there was no Google. It was a diagram in last. So there is no excuse. I think you have adequate technology to help you go through your medical knowledge. The knowledge you gain as an undergraduate is the knowledge that you will use as a medical practitioner for life. There is no repeating where you are. If you miss, you have missed. You must therefore be grounded in your basics. Often when we get doctors who qualify doing ward rounds, particularly in some internship centers, and we start wondering which medical school they came from. Let that not be graduates of Kenyatta University. Know your basics. However much medicine gets new treatments, realities, whatever new inventions come, the beauty of medicine is that the basics never change. It is the same basic science that you invent everywhere else. It is on that basic science that you treat new diseases without necessarily having encountered them in the past. However, the basic knowledge should not be an end in itself. I'm sure you know in undergraduate you knowledge where does the coda tympani insert, you know? It should not be an end in itself. It should be applied for the benefit of patients. When you go for ward rounds, do not throw away your basics, but apply them to grow. As you begin the clinical years, you need to begin with an end in mind. The reason you are training in medicine is to be given the tools to treat disease as well as prevent disease and to ensure that the society has healthy people. See, when I walk around, you're ensuring that sometime later you will actually meet conditions like this somewhere else where you are the only one who is able to diagnose because you came across it, you learned. So your allegiance is thus to society in general and to the specific patient that you're dealing with. It is thus imperative that the patient meets you when you are well read. We used to call it charged in medical school. I don't know what you call it nowadays. You have empathy, and you are willing to go out of your way to treat the whole person. Yeah? When blood works have not come, you can actually go to the lab. Why? Because you want all this for the interest of treatment of that patient. Yeah? The stethoscope that you will use, and the fundoscope, and the fetoscope that you will use in clinical ward rounds is a mark of trust that has been given to you by the profession to serve the community. You will not find a butcher with a stethoscope. You'll have a knife. Actually, that's what you're doing. Do not let it down. You will be trusted with a lot of confidential information about patients. From early on, learn that you do not share information given to you in confidence. And the reason that information has been given to you is because you have been given a stethoscope by society. And that just means that you are not supposed, you are there for the patient's benefit, not for, and it was put very well here about even before someone has received what they are being told, they are already treated or something. Do not take photos without consent. You might think you're learning, but do not take photos without consent. And do not spread those photos without consent again. Do not put any information of patients on social media especially pertaining to specific patients. By the way, this is the only bond you have between you and your profession. Confidentiality. When you go to a doctor who you know the next time you will find yourself being discussed in a bar. That applies to medical students. They don't seem to understand that, but do not. You need to guard these with your life. And that is very important in clinical rotation. Confidentiality. If you have to go out of this place without learning anything else, make sure that you retain this. And do not even share it with your husband or your wife. That is still a breach of confidence. The next time you hear it, you will hear it in the bar in church and things like that. Patients are very vulnerable people in society. As you treat them well, they may decide to fall in love with you. Medical students are also very vulnerable people, and they can easily be moved to become the solution of the patient's problems through love. You know, they are finding someone, they are depressed, their boyfriend has done what, then you decide to become the solution. Avoid. Keep the client-patient interactions as professional as possible. Do not cheat. Ukiulizwa unasikia mama, you say I can't hear. I think no, do not cheat. That's why I used to get negative marks for guessing. To try to avoid you from cheating. If you can't hear, you can't hear. If you don't know, you don't know. You ask. Yeah. Be a person of integrity and remain very ethical in your practice. Remember, your teachers are your best friends, but teachers are encouraged when students participate. Teachers are eager to teach those who are willing to learn. So in your clinical years, you must be willing to learn, which, as I said earlier, is manifested by clerkship of patient, presentation, being ordered and asking questions, and following our patients. You must continuously update your knowledge. Never stop reading, even in these clinical years. The technique may change, as you shall now be reading around the patient. Reading around the patient is a very important way of developing clinical technique. When you get a patient, for instance, in the world with typhoid, this is where you integrate typhoid anatomy affects which organ, what is it causing, what are the physiological changes that, and then now that's why you integrate. But don't stop reading because you have finished the years of cramming, as they put it. You have to continuously read. Medicine is also a collective learning process. You cannot know it yourself. It is best done in a Harambee spirit. So your colleagues will have different ways of seeing things. Some learn faster than others retain longer than others. When you discuss in groups, it benefits everyone because you get the aspects from everyone. The benefits of discussion groups even go beyond medical school. On graduating and going to workplaces, the same colleagues you are studying with will be the same friends in future. You'll be doing things together. Is that important to make really deep connections while in medical school? Because as doctors, these are the same people you will be with in the long haul. In the clinical years, form small discussion groups so that you go many, discuss a patient, come on, does that, give allocate duties. That's the way to learn. When you are a sole ranger, you may not go too far. You may go fast in the book, but not too far. While you're in medical school, also remember to keep in good health. It is important for the people to love themselves first before they can give good service to the community. The new Hippocratic Oath recently passed by the World Medical Association has included self-care as an important component of physician oath. The clinical area is a dangerous field, and it's good there is a person who has special interest in tuberculosis. In your line of duty, you may actually contract the very same diseases that you're learning about. It is therefore very important to take all the necessary precautions, even as you serve others, not to become one of the victims of the same diseases. Examples of diseases you may contract in your clinical areas include HIV from needle pricks. These are clinical areas where you may encounter needles and things like that. There must be setups. You must know what to do when you get such needle pricks. The systems the school must put in place is, if I prick myself today, a patient has HIV, what do I do? So that is an important area that needs to be done. Tuberculosis and other airborne diseases, such as COVID. A lot of our interns got COVID and they had to be out for. You need to take precaution, wear masks, learn to follow the infection prevention procedures, and we also need to go further, such that in the event that you actually get that occupational disease, it should be treated as such, and there is compensation for that, and you may need to read around that and follow that. So take care not to get the same diseases that you are treating. I would encourage all of you to start developing some skills in research very early in this medical career. The world has moved towards evidence-based medicine. Policy formulations are also based on evidence. A practitioner with the research skills can navigate this medical field very well. It's also a big plus if medical students conduct research and present them at various scientific conferences. We've had at our Kenya Medical Association conferences a lot of fantastic student presentations. Keynote are presenting. You are there? Okay, yeah, you need to start presenting. From the top of my head, the medical schools that there are several levels of evidence in research, as you all know. But the first level is yourself. Develop the art of observation and curiosity. Ask questions and do not be afraid to suggest what you think. Nimeona watu 10 wametoka Kibira wanahara wote choni ya rent. You get what I mean? You might be the first one to actually diagnose an epidemic, and it is from curiosity and actually present. We encourage medical students to take up leadership roles, especially now that you're going to the ward. If you find infection prevention practices are not being practiced, kindly point them out. Needles are being left all over. Patients are being exposed without curtains. They're being indecently exposed, so to speak. Point that out. In obstetrics and gynecology, in our days, Ogoina said, when you hear someone saying in our days, there is a procedure called MVA. You know MVA? MVA used to be done under verbal care. You know verbal care? Unaambia unaoshwa na unaambia usisikie uchungu, unaambiwa usisikie uchungu. Until some medical students started getting medical students who with empathy. They started saying, what do you mean? So you just give them some painkillers and then none. Now that became the thing. Actually, you can't do an MVA in Kenya without painkillers. But previously, but it took the medical students to one, and then the old one say, by the way, why don't you usually give them verbal care? In this competitive world that you're going into, it is imperative that you emerge as the best. This will mean that you get to learn your medicine extremely well. Medical schools are now many. When I finished the one, now I think they're 11. You must pave yourself for employability post-medical school. This therefore means that you must know your staff very well. The only way to do this in your clinical rotations is actually to do the clinical rotations and actually continue reading within the clinical rotation. When you come over here, you must be the best. In medicine, you will deal with life and death. Sometimes doctors deal with a lot of death that could easily make them unempathetic. This constitutes a form of what is called moral injury. You need to remain awake to situations that make you less human, so to speak. Take a break if you feel that your empathy is declining. Develop a prayer culture. Many times prayer is the only intervention left after the doctor has done everything they could do in managing patients, especially critical patients. But you must have done your best, and then you continue to pray. Do your best and leave the rest to God. Doctors heal, God cures. That's what they say. Yeah? Yeah. Don't go to bars and start saying, kwa watu walikufa watano leo. You know, people are not doctors everywhere. Even those are signs that you are losing empathy. You are having moral injury. You know, if you ever see to their colleagues who are not doctors, then they start hearing you and speaking like that. But that comes from because there's another word called medicine. There's a medicine word where the first document you are introduced to, who is the physician here? Is a document called a D1. You know D1? Does anyone know what a D1 is? Okay, that's why you are going into medicine. So D1 is the death certificate. Ile kitabu wanakuwa nazo mingi medical as a leader. So you know, so in one day you can come and find 10 dead people. You know, I mean 10 people have died at night. You know, and that can be quite traumatic. So develop empathy and just move off if you feel that this thing is getting to. The world is changing very fast, and now medical students will just need to be very versatile. Even as you study medicine, try to be innovative in campus. Engage in some form of income generating activity. This will get to help you supplement your meager resources that are available now in future. Medicine will help you become a thinker and an influential member of society. In clinical rotations, keep your mind open. There are opportunities that may help you build, or you'll be able to identify some future income generating activities. How do people make money? They make money by solving problems. Medicine has many problems. And that's by extension, many opportunities. Yeah? My first income generated was selling stethoscopes. We go to Kenyatta hapo anapeana stethoscope. I sold stethoscopes. It's also useful to develop skills, particularly relating to financial prudence, so as not to fall into the trap of thinking that you might become very rich. Continuous financial education and saving and investment is an important component in education as you even continue in your clinical years. Pope Francis said, you can have flows, you can be anxious, and even be angry. But do not forget that your life is the greatest enterprise in this world. Only you can stop it from going past. Many appreciate you and admire you and love you. So we need to enjoy this noble profession and welcome to the medicine. Thank you very much.
Asante sana Daktari for the good presentation. Thanks sana. So then now we'll move to the next stage, which is the stethoscope ceremony proper.